Okay, so I want to talk about the SAG and WGA strikes that are happening now, and SAG just started their strike yesterday. And that issue is AI being used to replace actors in films and television productions. And it's possible that this is like sort of a bad faith negotiating ploy on the part of the AMTP MP, I think. I don't know. I don't remember the acronym. The Motion Picture Service, the Association of Studios. And basically threatening to scan actors, paying them once for their services, and then using the scans in perpetuity and presumably their voices as well. And that's pretty dystopian. Do we need to do that? We don't need to do that. And I think if you look at it from like a capitalist point of view, the point of doing that is to reduce costs and maximizing profit. And that's sort of always where you're going to go with capitalism. It's not the product, you're not making the best product possible, you're making the product that will make the most profit. So it's not great. Like if you're looking in this industry, it's an artistic industry, it's a cultural industry. You want to make something meaningful, and if you're just generating content or using AI to generate content and using scanned people or even generating digital people, it sort of takes a lot of that creativity out of it. So it's kind of gross on the studio's part for even like suggesting to do this. Yeah, I mean, we'll see where this goes, but I did want to kind of look at ways, like I don't think AI is inherently bad, it's just a tool. So if we're looking at film and television being creative and doing creative things, how can we use AI to boost creativity or do things that haven't been done before? And I think that's possible with AI tools, where it can be empowering to artists. It could be used positively to model large crowds. If you look at like the Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, like the Battle of Helm's Deep, all of these marching orcs were, there was some that they did in makeup, and like for close-up shots they had people in makeup, but then they digitally replicated, the large army scenes. And I think that's fair. Like that's a fair use of it. Like it's very difficult to like gather that many people. Just logistically, it would be difficult to film 10,000 people at a time. So I think that's a fair use of these digital technologies. Another one would be in performing dangerous stunts. Tom Cruise is famous for his ridiculously challenging stunts, or Jackie Chan, incredibly dangerous. And they do take safety precautions and structure things in a way that they're not going to necessarily lose their life, but they could. But you could take that danger away completely by using a digital version of that person. I think like right now where we're at, it's not really that believable, and there's sort of that still uncanny valley aspect to some of these digital performances that I think need to be worked out. But that would be like an ethical use of digital body scanning or using AI. And to say, like, I think when we're talking about AI, like some of these, like just digitally scanning somebody's body and face, that's not necessarily an AI tool in and of itself. But there's technology now that does like voice reconstruction that uses AI. So you can just take a really small snippet of somebody's voice and do a very convincing replica of that voice saying something else. And there's a YouTuber, I'll probably link it, who's been doing some really ridiculous stuff with songs. And there's one that was Johnny Cash doing Barbie Girl. And it was a convincing Johnny Cash. Like but like at least in the video he said, "I'm not Johnny Cash." So, there's the technology is there, and that is actually AI, but like just a straight up scan, modeling it on some sort of digital avatar, that's not necessarily AI in and of itself. But it's still like, for the strike, for the union striking, that's still an issue because that's a way to lose revenue. It's like losing control over, your face, your face and your body. So another thing is, you could apply creative filters over a performance. So you wouldn't lose the actor in that, but you can actually use AI to change their look, change the style. It could be in the style of Monet or, whatever. And there's this technology for that right now. Like I think it's Runway AI does this, and it's kind of a little bit expensive to do, but like this later on, as the algorithms get optimized, as more, training data is used, the cost of this will be coming down massively. So that's another way to make something in a creative way using AI. It's similar to using rotoscoping. So you film a scene, and then you can go in and animate over it, like the original Snow White and the Disney Snow White that was rotoscoped. So you have this really lifelike animation, and then but it's based on live action. So it's similar technology to that, but it uses AI instead of hand animation. Another thing that you could do is creating physically impossible backgrounds or generative backgrounds. You look at film like Avatar, the first one. I haven't seen the second one. And there's floating stuff, like floating rocks in the sky, and that's not real physics, really. I don't know what kind of multi-body gravitational situation would cause that. But you could do something like that, something that's difficult or impossible to do in reality. You can create using, by training a data set, training a training set, and then applying it, generatively. And I think the thing that would be different with AI, so right now when you're rendering computer animation, you have to use models and everything's hand modeled, and there's a lot of effort that goes into it, and you can't really change things on the fly very easily. So using generative AI, you could create different scenarios and try different things really quickly. And it doesn't really unemploy anyone, because the people who are working now in computer animation could adapt to using AI tools to do kind of similar things. So that would be a positive. I also want to discuss how this could change, or how AI tools could change the media landscape. You could allow for things that were considered unfilmable to be filmable, using generative technology. It also sort of provide job opportunities for more character actors. So people, you're looking at Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is sellable because he's Tom Cruise and he does Tom Cruise-y things. But you have lots of really good character actors who are great at many different roles, but there may not be, as handsome or pretty, and not quite as sellable as sort of main characters, I guess. But if you can skin them in, other visages, they could then, take on more roles and do more interesting things. So that could be another thing that could happen from this. And then I think when you look at gamings and 3D interactive scenarios, I think there's more things you can do if you're generating, using generative AI to create different backgrounds and create stuff on the fly. I think it will open up gaming a lot, and I think there's a lot of roles potentially for actors in that, having them say a bunch of different types of lines, or even just using building voice recognition you know, finding their voice patterns and then applying them to a character. So they don't necessarily say a certain string of words themselves, but the character can do that. And, you know, and just like using like ChatGPT, and it comes up with things to say in a large language model, the character can generate things, you know, generate words realistically. Yeah, and that's just sort of my thoughts on that. I'm not an AI expert. I am a programmer, and I have done some stuff with AI, but I'm not necessarily seeing all the things that might come down our way. But I think it's important to try and think positively about these possibilities and think, in what way can we make this better? In what way can we make the world better? And it doesn't have to be like this capitalist dystopia all the time. Like, it really doesn't. We can enjoy things and live good lives and not have to worry about stuff like this. You know, that would be ideal. So I think we need to put our minds in that direction. And I hope, you know, the unions get a relatively good deal on this, because, you know, all of this, like, you know, golden age of television goes away. All these great films go away if we, you know, lose writers and lose the diversity of writing, or lose actors and lose the diversity of actors. Yeah, it's sort of unthinkable what the studios are doing, but they're so profit driven, and they really need to get out of that mindset. You know, we need to make great art and not necessarily make profits, or make, you know, profits so huge, or only put the profits in certain people's pockets. Like, you know, why not share this stuff? Anyway, those are my thoughts. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's going to watch this, but thank you. If you have all the way through, I really appreciate it. Just giving this a try. All right, bye.